Okay, so 3.9k Ana on Rialto, and you're saying that you are looking for general advice on how to improve, but the two areas of focus are how to quickly identify win conditions and how to more aggressively position myself for huge bionades. Alright, two things. One, in general, win conditions should be planned out in advance, not something that you have to quickly identify, because that's going to be more of a in-game, in the moment decision that you're going to make. And it's not generally going to be like, oh, our win condition right here is that I antied the Rhine instead of the Zarya. It's got to be generally something that you're going to plan more in advance, even just a little bit. Like my win condition is, oh, I'm going to play up here because my Zarya is about to grab them here or something like that. But we'll see if we can help with that. And you want to aggressively position for huge bionades. I get it. I play a more defensive style of Ana myself, but those huge ones are always tempting. I'll tell you this right now. If this is where you're positioning yourself, you are not positioning yourself for huge bionades. If you want to position yourself for huge bionades, you need to... Boom. Go here or here, or even here sometimes. Depends. That is where you'll get huge bionades, any of those three places. Because, and that's part of it's going to come down to where your team wants to hold and stuff. But generally speaking, your team's going to hold like here. This is a really good spot to end up stuffing your enemies in. Because especially if you can take this corner, it's beautiful holding here, right? And so if you're here, you have free reign of your bionades. If you're here, you have similar, not quite the same, but very similar, and both allow you to kind of sit behind these pillars so that you're not as worried about getting sniped, especially because it's very common for DPS to go here to see if they can get a quick pick on the healer who's probably being dumb and not playing behind cover, or is playing like here with their team, because then they just go just a little further and easy shot, or go up here and easy shot. And so here is not my favorite, because in order to hit good, mostly if you're holding back here, your bionades are going to be used for healing, which is almost never one of my favorite things to do. Supplementing your healing or your aim with bionades means that something else went wrong.
Is anyone in chat?
Use your heads out there. We'll get through this. Keep going.
Yeah, so this is a better position. You're in the middle of your two covers, though, so you should go to one of your covers. But if you're trying to hit aggressive bionades, this is the better position. Also, if you're trying to hit better bionades, you should have it off cooldown by now. A flanker's not going to have had time to get to you, so you should have thrown one already. Especially once you saw that their Rhine was on this side, just throw one at the payload if you don't think you're going to hit the Rhine, if you think he's going to be hard shielding or something. So you're now past the point where you could have hit tab to see their comp, and there we go. We used the bionade to supplement our healing, which is not going to be the optimal decision almost ever. Did you even hear that? You could hear her footsteps over there, and because you're not behind cover, you're such an easy shot. I'm very impressed you missed, and it's probably because you were randomly AD strafing. So good on you for randomly AD strafing, bad on you for being in a bad position. And you're still here. Like you are strafing, yes, but start strafing like towards cover.
I'm backing up.
And like here, like there's no point to be here. Fall back, where I was literally just talking about. If you want to hold this side, go right here. Come on. Because then anyone who's coming this way, they at least don't have free shots on you. They have to at least take that little angle. Anyone who's coming this way, you have free shots on. And anyone who's coming this way, if you're behind this cover, they shouldn't be able to hit that shot without substantially moving out of their way one way or another. So come back here, don't play here, because you're in a huge risk from any shots over here or over here.
They're running two off supports.
You just got flanked by the Widow and you're still going back to this doorway.
Get in there, and
How
I
did
will
you get
move.
Nana so fast?
Just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Watch out for Will top, he's flanking.
And again, like, you've had your nade off cooldown for so long. If you're going for that aggressive nade style, like you're saying, throw it in there.
Can you,
People like ML7, like, they hit nades on shields all the time. But because that one time that their Ryan drops his shield, that's the end of that team fight. If you're going to have it off cooldown for when you need it anyway, then throw it.
Get
in there.
So if you're talking about win conditions in the moment, your team has already announced that your win condition is Nano Blade, yet you threw your nade at your Ryan, or you threw your nano at your Ryan. So that's super unfortunate if your win condition was Nano Blade.
It's just us. It's just, you know.
You're going to heal.
I'm gonna blade. Dude, what's this?
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
This is going to be target priority on your healing. Yes, your Ryan is in need of healing, but so is your Zen. And your Zen is closer to you and probably more valuable. Right there. And that's again why we shouldn't be using our nade to supplement our healing, because we use it to supplement our healing on our Rhine. We could have thrown it at the ground to protect us and our other healer from the Tracer, which even isn't something that's ideal, but it's much better than using it to supplement our healing to literally save someone.
Are you serious? This kid is on high.
Nice that you slept with a pinning Rhine, but you were still getting farmed from the Tracer behind you. You knew the Tracer didn't die.
That's okay. I'm not
I'll
surprised
rest
about
once it's done.
That's not a bad support. I know. Yeah.
You're going to live.
You wanna know the real reason why we lost that?
Take your medicine.
Because we didn't back up when we needed to back up. We were able to get some massive gains on us.
And think about where you're playing right now. Are you going to take this corner? Because if so, then move up to take the corner and you can peek it real quick and get a nade. You can still get your heals off. If you're not going to take this corner, then fall back. There's nothing for you here. There's nothing for you but an easy headshot from a Widow. And it seems like you're not sure. It seems like you're not sure if you're going to cross the corner or not. But it doesn't look like you are. So now you're exposed to this room. You're exposed to the bridge.
Actually, you know what? Enemy now. Let's go. Yep, I'm ready.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Okay, there we go. 2 ults out of them.
Lights out.
2 ults out of them. Okay,
Just a
there we go.
case
2
of
ults out
missing,
them.
unfortunately. And this is why, if you're not really comfortable in your aim, you gotta decide, you know, is it worth trying to like quick scope here? Should I just hard scope and call it a day? Like, obviously, hard scoping too much, especially in a situation like this, is not going to always be ideal, because you're not going to see the entire battlefield if you're hard scoping on a Rhine right here. But if you could have healed that Rhine, it could have been a totally different outcome. And so if you're not confident in your mechanical ability, that's fine. You're 3.9k for a reason. Like, that is high. You have climbed, and so your mechanical ability is good enough to play at 3.9k. Now, maybe it's only good enough because it's supplemented by good game sense or something, but it's at minimum, it meets the bare minimum. And so if you have to hardscope or something to hit shots, do it so that you can hit those shots. Because all you did now is you proved that, oh, I'm going to scope in. Oh, no, I'm going to quick scope. Oh, no, I'm going to not scope at all, and you missed all 3. And we miss shots all the time. I don't know if this is consistent with you. You know, I'm only seeing one game, and we're only 4 minutes into one game, but I just need to mention that because this is something that you got to carry into all your games.
5 ults.
So now, if you're worried about win conditions still, You guys gotta talk right now. We have our grab,
I kinda
and
wanna
we
play.
just got the transcendence out of them.
Okay,
So say it. Say I want to
Yeah,
grab very
grab
early.
blade.
We don't even need the blade. Tell them you don't need the blade. Tell them they have no support ults,
I'm ready for you.
and
to
use
grab
your
whenever.
voice.
Let's go, let's go, let's go,
I'm ready
let's
for
go.
grab whenever.
Fire at will.
A waste. So you guys use 3 ults here for what you only needed 1 for. And that's not your fault. You didn't ult, but it is your fault from the fact that you didn't talk to your team and tell them, yo, we don't need 3 ults here. They just used 5. Your team called that out. The only thing I think they have right now is Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, forget her. She's so relevant right
No,
now.
our Tracer's gonna do it. I'm here, Tracer, go.
And this is what I'm talking about. Why are we not nading here like right now?
Do it.
Like right now. Yes, I see the bubble, but and no, I don't support throwing nade off cooldown, but this is the time to nade and get. You'll have value from anti-ing at least one of these targets, or if you don't anti them, say the Zarya sees it coming, you forced out her bubble, and you'll have increased healing on your Rhine. That is a nade that you got value out of.
You trying to see that? Huh?
Instead, you waited to supplement the healing on your Rhine, which is not the correct choice, and it hit a shield. So it didn't even do what you needed it to.
She's discorded. I got it.
If aggressive nades, not like well calculated into grab nades, are what you're going for, then you need to understand that you have to throw them more. You need to understand that some of them are just going to hit a shield, and that's it. And you have to take that risk. So you saw the bullets flying past your face there. You still crossed that little gap, and then you fell down. So why did we do this? If we wanted the high ground, okay, maybe you can justify crossing the gap, maybe you can't. That's got to be a personal choice, and that's going to be a, you know, kind of a coach by coach choice in all honesty, because different people would say it's worth the risk, but then you drop down. So you took a risk for nothing. If the high ground was worth it or not became irrelevant because you dropped down. So you should have just dropped down from the start so you didn't have to cross the gap that you know the Widow just shot at.
Nice.
Down
Go
one.
right side.
Scratch. You'll be fine.
Go all the way far. I don't want to drop shield.
He's one.
Tell him you can't see him. Tell yours done.
Can you push up?
So we know the Widow is shooting across, right? And we are standing behind no cover, trying to outsnipe her. Great question to ask yourself is, can I one-shot and can I be one-shot? That's a great question for healers, DPS, tanks, whatever. Because if I can't one-shot, but I can be one-shot, it's stupid of me to be doing it. End of story. Because if this Widow cared, or if she was just trying to get a good pick for her team to, if they were pushing forward right now or something, she could flick shot to you and call it a day. You're not behind any cover. You're not going to outshoot her most likely. It's just an unnecessary risk
Widow one.
because you're probably not going to get that kill, and she can get that kill.
I have your back.
I want to play corner.
They have gap. Watch out.
Watch your Willow top right, Willow top right.
Healing enough.
On the top
Right
right.
when I came.
Almost in.
So again here, because we weren't behind cover, we're on the wrong side of it, or we could even be behind the payload, or we could be on the right side of the barrels or behind this corner. We get shot by the Widow.
Gap, watch out.
So right here, we're behind no cover at all, even though there's cover right by us. I mean, there's good cover here, behind on this side, and the payload is right here. So there is cover you could have used, but because you got shot by the Widow, you had to use the nade on yourself, which meant that you couldn't use the nade here when their team started to push in. So actually, you want to use aggressive nades, which is awesome. Great way to climb, great way to make sure you're contributing, but your positioning made it so you couldn't use, not even, the fact that you didn't take defensive positioning made it so you couldn't have an aggressive nade because you had to use it on yourself.
Watch your Willow top right, Willow top right.
Boom. If you're behind cover, that would have been avoided.
Healing enough.
On the top
Right when
right.
I came.
Almost in.
almost have grapple close.
Worked out well for you. Does anyone know there's a Lucio there? What would you have done if he
I
wasn't
would've
low?
one up there. Well, you can dash her, punch her, I
Got
don't
free
know.
grab
dead,
after
I'm
this.
dead.
You have no chance.
Yeah, I've played. I'm ready for your grab whenever, literally. Okay, whenever works.
I'm coming back.
Whenever works.
So then again, you're talking aggressive nades. You use your nade to help sustain your Zarya instead of throwing it in the grav that your team has said they're throwing. What would you have done if they had a support ult for this? And I don't even think you know if they have a Zen or anything because you haven't hit tab. Overall, you have some solid things. Some of your 80-80 strafing is nice, some of your aim is really nice, you have some cute sleeps, you have some solid gameplay, but you also have some massive issues, which is probably why you feel like you're underplaying people at your level.
Behind us, behind us, behind us.
That's cool. Shield's low. Recharge mid.
Widow's top left, Widow's top left.
So what are we doing here? We gotta decide. If we're going up top here, are we aware that we can very easily die to the Widow?
Shield's last.
Or no, we're gonna go all the way up here, which is so much time we're not healing our tanks, so much time we can't put damage on the front line, and then drop down.
Last. Shield's low. I'm
crazy.
low, I'm low.
All you did was waste 10 seconds.
Oh no, I tried to counter charge. I got beat up.
Oh my god. Where's the bridge?
Got 3.
Guys, there's a line of guard, line of guard, line of guard.
I can't believe they're Ryan fed like that. That's crazy. Happy for you, but that's crazy. And then here, just another classic example of bad positioning. We know that we're losing. We can see the kill feed that we're getting shot at by Widow still, and yet we're standing on top of the payload instead of behind it. Imagine if you'd been behind the payload right here, you could have healed the Rhine still, and this wouldn't have happened.
Stand card, please. Stand card. Hold shield, yes, hold shield, hold shield. I'll get hurt, I'll get hurt.
So next fight you go into, you need to be thinking about the ults that, the enemy team has. You know they probably have Shatter. Their Ryan got some good damage off. He even got some good damage off on you. And so you know they're about to have Shatter. So are you going to play like they have Shatter? Are you going to trust your Ryan to block it? Because you should never. What's going on here?
We're practically letting it kill us. Okay, this feels up probably looking for a boot.
Watch out, Luke.
Okay, if you get boot, got it. Got on you.
Oh my god. Lucio behind, Lucio behind.
Just grab, just grab, just grab. What up? We have no ult. Don't go in. Like, don't hard close.
So you're playing right behind your Ryan when you know you're probably going to get Shattered.
We're split. Low. Shield down.
So they're gonna solo grab my blade. Mana blade probably.
I'd really play Zen, dude. This is fucking boring to watch.
Okay, but you're the only defensive ult we have, so.
I'm gonna play Zen after the shoot. I was literally doing more.
Anna, you ready? No, not now, not now. Okay, let's go, let's go.
So your Ryan got pinned here. Your Ryan got pinned. I've been talking about the Shatter, and you're still where you can get Shattered. Go up on these stairs or anything. You know you're about to get Shattered. You know it for a fact.
No, not now, not now. Okay, let's go, let's go. Can you do it after you?
That wasn't even remotely surprising, unfortunately. And you're a high enough level, like you have clearly played for a little bit. You had to know that was coming. And you had to play around the fact that it was
They
coming.
have no ults now.
I wasn't stressed about the grab, and you shouldn't have been either, because you shouldn't be playing close enough to be grabbed anyway.
Can we go over here, guys?
But the Shatter, obvious that you were going to get hit by it.
Someone got charged in here.
Okay.
Fine, then I'll stun him. Watch out, they're going for loot. Nice.
Combo, dude.
They got bubbled?
Use it, yo!
Whoa. God.
This guy is so bad.
The fuck? Even if it's just the fucking tanks, who the fuck cares, man? Shit.
Yeah, no, I think you made the right choice to get this
Get off
payload
the
right
game.
then. It's
Drink a
unfortunate.
fucking cup of sugar and then get back on.
You might have wanted to hold further back there, but then again, like, you're going for aggressive nade practice right now, and you wouldn't have been able to hit the aggressive nade on the ground. That was just a bad situation to be in. And then at the end, I mean, there's no point in even commenting on that. That was just a last second touch the payload. Super unfortunate. Super unfortunate. Well, I hope you find some good information in this, and I hope it helps you climb. And good luck to you, man.